Loves Eurovision. So much, in fact, that he created a separate Slack space for discussing it. Please welcome Chris Armstrong to the space. Woo!
1, 2, can we hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Hannah, I'm going to sort of just move away from my face now, thank you very much. I treat these talks a little bit like I treated my first car. It takes a little while to jimmy it, get it started, but once we're going, we'll be running till we start. So, very quickly, about me, for some context, that's what we're here for. There's a lot going on. Don't worry, we're not really talking that much about this, Russell. I like things. I work at Provar. I've had words in my job title. I do the podcast, I do stuff in Ministry of Testing. I have a family. I'm an Agile Testing Fellow. That's me. That's all we need to know. So, welcome to my personal hell. Not public speaking today. That might change. We'll do a talk about that next year. So, this is my personal hell. I started a new job. I didn't have a PC. I also didn't have an email address. I didn't have access to anything. No code, no tooling. I didn't even have a card to get in or out of the building. I didn't meet my team, which you might think is a bit of a problem. And I didn't have any experience with any of the tech stack at all. Or the product, it was all new. And after my first day, my boss went on leave for a week. Yeah. Also, testing as a career wasn't a thing I was exposed to. I used to work in the games industry, and in games, you were there as a tester only to have a foot on the ladder to move to another department, maybe audio, or design, or art, or being a producer. And so it was a bit of a surprise that testing was a career, but thank goodness I found it. Now, I did have some things, it wasn't all bad. I had some basic understanding of testing, but from that different industry. I had hundreds of pages of regulatory standards. This was PDFs, printed out for me, no PC. And I had an iron shirt. Yes. Apparently we were doing Scrum. 12-hour meetings in a sprint. Sometimes, when we were lucky, one stand-up was 3 hours. Anyone here had more for one stand-up? Well, I will have a support group if anyone wants to talk later. So what were my choices in this instance? What would you do? Quit. Go back to my old company, beg for my old job back? Run. Or survive? I think we all know what surviving means. Existing, failing to be destroyed. We've done a lot of that in this pandemic. It's not healthy to do forever, but we all have to start somewhere. So what do? We turn these things into thriving. So what was I able to achieve? I became the automation owner for our UK, our EMEA, and then our global team. That has its own challenges, and we can talk about that another day. I got to go to recruitment fairs. I represented my company. CMMI audits. Anyone? We'll also have a support group for this. Don't worry. I was a go-to person in my team. I don't know about you, but you feel slightly rewarded when people in your team want to come to you and ask your opinion and have help. I became an interviewer for my company. Not everyone likes interviewers, let's be honest. But it was a bit of confirmation that I was doing something that was good. And I was a STEM ambassador. I got to go to schools and educate the next generation on good engineering practices, quality and things like that. So yeah, it was a nice story, wasn't it? See ya. Yeah. Okay, so how did I go from A to B? What we're going to be discussing now is a survival toolkit. But what I want you to think about whilst we're doing this is not what I would do in that situation, or that's an interesting theory. I want you to think about your context. Think about your careers, think about your lives, think about your workplaces. I want you to think about, if I'm already in my organisation and I understand my context, how can I help those people, and can any parts of this be useful, helpful? It's not perfect. This is how I managed to transition from, oh no, to, yeah. So, here we go. Food and drink is in a survival toolkit. I've got some helpers. This is my youngest. I don't necessarily recommend when you're surviving having ice cream, but I think we can all relate sometimes when we're desperate, the things we ask for: sugar, sustenance. What we're looking for is what sustains us. How are we continuously learning? Are we being encouraged to learn? Are we finding places? Are we asking questions? We're testers. Are we uncovering information? Are we finding out how things work, who they're for? What stimulates you? Has anyone ever been bored at work? Yeah. We need to be stimulated to be effective. Are the challenges that we've got challenges that are in reach? Are they things that we can actually achieve? Are your sprint goals achievable? Have we got validation for what we're doing? Is the work we're doing work that is effective? And have we got relationships that will help sustain us? It doesn't have to be your boss, but people you work with. We are working in a people industry. Do we have those relationships? Do we know those people? Do they know us? We don't have to be best friends, but I think we have to be able to communicate and talk and then even enjoy working if we want to enjoy the people. Well, firstly, enjoy the people to enjoy the work. Yeah. Celebrate those achievements. Get that sustainability. Those things are super important, otherwise we don't even survive, let alone thrive. Weather forecasting tools. Yeah. Someone didn't check the weather. Actually, that could have been me on Monday. I left the hotel. Yeah, it was raining. Not so good. What we mean is what's coming. What are the industry trends? Are there new ideas, things that we can bring to our workplace? Are we going out of our places, learning about what's going on in the industry? Do we know what's coming next in the tools that we use or the tools that we could use? Are there legislative updates? Did anyone have a really easy time with GDPR? You had an easy time with GDPR. Someone else's problem. Interesting. We need to know what's coming. We don't need to be surprised all the time. We should be proactive, not reactive. So again, we're asking questions. If we want to say QA stands for question asker, if we have to use QA, let's ask questions, let's find information. What about within your own company? Does anybody here have worked for a company and people leave, people join, and I don't know. Yeah? I'm going to go and talk to Jim over here. No, Jim's gone. Well, who's owning his work? And we're going to hire them later. All right. We need to know these things. Are we finding these things out? Are we asking our leaders to give us this information? Are we holding people accountable? The radio. You don't want to hear what he was listening to unless you're a Wiggles fan. I find testing and software development entertaining. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's sad, but very often it's sad. But there is humour in our work, there is joy in our work, there's relationships in our work. We are providing a service, we are solving problems. That's compelling. We should be consuming those stories. We should be learning from others' successes. And we should be sharing our successes with other people. That's how we learn together. Take those news. If someone's done something bad, we should call them out. In the workplace, at home, in conferences. Podcasts, like we mentioned, we have a podcast, yes? Listen to what other people are talking about. Give them feedback, please. Give them feedback. We need feedback, we're testers. Feedback's important. But go out, find that information. But also with social impact, I worked in an organisation where we made physical components and there was a problem. There were investigations. Were we using unethical gold in our components? It's important that we have a moral compass in the work that we do, right? I don't want to work for someone that's killing people. Do we have that information? Do we know what those things are when we're applying for work, when we're working in different industries? Are we standing up for those things that we believe in? And are our organisations doing those for us? I mean, I'm British, so I would have called this a torch, but I took the survival toolkit from America and I figured let's just go with the flow. What is illuminating? You find a torch is when you see small pieces of things when you point at it. Focus. Now in the workplace, how do you focus? Who here has gone back to an open office and has decided that they can't focus on anything? How about that guy on the phone call who's just there, loud? Yeah. If you've got to have a meeting with somebody else, there, the conversation's putting you off. Have you been used to having noise cancelling headphones for so long, you can't go back? Is that what helps you focus? And is your workplace allowing that? For me, open, loud spaces, I struggle. If my wife wants to have a conversation about what we're going to do for my son's birthday, and the telly's on, even if I'm looking at her in the eye, you're my wife today, I can hear the TV, it is distracting me. I need to know what distracts me, and I need to give you my focus, because it's not respectful and I'm not listening. Try as I might. But also, prioritisation. What's important that I'm doing? Who's got superfluous work that they don't see the value in what they're doing? What about that meeting? Do I need to be there? What was the focus? Does it have an agenda? Find ways to help you be more helpful and challenge those that don't do things that are helpful. I got to the end of a meeting once and somebody, that was really good, we should do this again next week. Why? That doesn't help me, you've disrupted my entire day. Am I letting people know that's how I work? It's not helpful. Where is the value? First aid kit. There's not swearing. Different finger. Try to install a washing machine. Not good. So when we hear things go wrong, tests fail, people leave, people are ill, there's a problem in production. That happens. That's life. But how do we deal with that? Does our culture accept failures and bad things? Does it give you the opportunity to embrace that, learn from mistakes, learn your lessons, move on? Or is it a culture of blame? Have we got accountability? I was working as a manager, a test manager, and there was no one else who was in testing and quality at my level in my organisation. How can I be truly accountable with somebody that didn't understand where I was coming from? There were like 7 dev managers. They just didn't get it. They just thought I wanted to automate all the things. But actually, I needed people to hold me to account. I needed support. I needed people who could build me up. People who could tell me, no, you shouldn't do that. Stop it. So I started the Testing Peers community as a means of finding people who were in similar situations to myself, that I knew I could be honest and open with and share with, and that I knew they would hopefully only metaphorically, slap me. Accountability is important. It keeps us safe, it keeps us protected, it keeps us honest. Are we doing that in the workplace? Are we humble about those things, or do we say, I can do that, job done, no problem? Are we honest when things are things that we struggle with, or things that we can't do? Is it really healthy to take on work that we can't do, we find hard? If we're in a culture and an environment where we can't do those things, how can we be productive as testers when our whole job is about providing information? So what is it that gives you confidence? Because actually, it's rewarding to help other people. When I went to the doctors, dentists, I used to get a sticker. We like stickers. I used to get a lollipop. We like those things. We've looked after ourselves. Have we been rewarded for looking after ourselves? Are we encouraging those things? I know mental health's been a big deal last month. There was the Mental Health Awareness Month. Have we taken time to reflect on ourselves and our colleagues? What's my workplace doing for me? And am I telling them when I'm having troubles? Ask for help. Never suffer in silence, please. Batteries. Yeah, they run out. And the important thing with batteries is they have a plus and a minus, and they only operate with giving and taking. There's only motion with the energy if we give and we take. If we find ourselves too far down the road with one thing, maybe I'm a great agony aunt, and people can share with me their problems, and I fix them all. Who's looking after me? But also, is it rewarding if all I ever do is project negativity? You need to find the things that recharge you. We all have different things that give us energy, give us life. If we're just doing a job that depresses us all the time, even if it's something that we know we have to do, it will sap that life out of you. I once had a wonderful role where I did load testing, but not the non-functional version. I loaded a driving computer game in every language, in every weather setting, in every single car, in every single track. Go through the options, tick it, tick a box off, 2,000 times. Drained the life out of me. I burned out. I wasn't taking breaks because I thought it's professional to stay at my desk, eat my lunch at my desk, be on calls, be permanently available and say yes to everything. Did I burn out? I couldn't get out of bed. Impossible. Find things that are right for you. Work-life balance. Who's talked about that in the pandemic? Who checks their phone when they're not working? Who checks their work Slack, their emails? Who replies to those things? Send reports on a Sunday night? Is that a healthy precedent to set? But people see that and think, you're available. I'll chat to you, I'll sort it out. That's not healthy for you. It's not a healthy precedent for you. And if you're a leader in your workplace, and I kind of believe we're all called to lead in some way and set an example when we're advocating for quality. If I'm setting that example, what does that tell everyone else around me? It says, I should be working those hours as well, or so-and-so is going to get the work that I want. They'll get the promotion, they'll get these things. If our leaders are doing 80-hour weeks, did we see Elon Musk's tweet last week? Yeah, that's not a leader I want to work for. That's not an example I need. That isn't healthy. No, thank you. Most important one, please, for the love of God. Take your annual leave. Take days off. Rest, recharge, please. Burnout sucks. So bad. Take your leave. Find hobbies. Talk to people who aren't testers. I've got family in my house. I should talk to them. Find things that bring you joy, recharge you, that aren't just your work. Your work is not you. You are a brilliant person. You are a brilliant tester. But you are more than that. Don't forget that, and don't let your work tell you otherwise. The whistle. I actually can't really whistle, which is probably good with the mic on my face. So instead, bat signal. Do you have a means to ask for help? Do you know in your organisation when something is wrong, where you can go, who you can tell, how you can put those things up? And this works both with, there's a problem with the software, I know where to go, people are going to respond to these things, but it also means I'm struggling, I'm seeing something wrong in the organisation. Do I know the path to alert people to things? Again, asking for help, I cannot overstate that. It is not at all a weakness to ask for help. It's the greatest strength is to admit, I don't know that thing, I need your help. We'll find that thing and we'll learn together. Don't struggle in silence, please. I mentioned the testing peers origin already, so we move on. A dust mask. Anyone wear a mask in the pandemic? I went to visit the Queen wearing a mask. My beautiful unicorn mask, made by Feeler from 9 out of 10 testers. Protect yourself, protect others. Do not overcommit. Do not pressure people to overcommit. Have that honest, accountable relationship with people. Be realistic about what you can achieve, because if you're always failing, I mean, who's had recurring failed sprints and they've carried points over and they haven't had a successful sprint? Right? Do you feel great? Does the retro feel like? We shouldn't have to do that. The goals need to be achievable and we need to see how that's been achievable. Has anyone worked on a product that hasn't gone to market for several years and you're never seeing feedback of products? Right? Find those things that protect you, because you will drain. But also, don't expect the impossible out of people. I had a project manager, the same one that did 3-hour stand-ups, by the way, who used to like to try and break people when they joined his team. And he would ask you to commit to the impossible by just asking and asking. And it was always in public, in front of the whole team, and more than 80% of the time, people were crying and leave. People took their car, they drove off. I was new. Holy crap. What am I going to do? I didn't agree to what he was trying to get me to agree, because can anyone read a 35-page spec in 5 minutes and give an estimate on all the work? No. It's unrealistic and it shouldn't happen. And HR were informed. He's a lovely human, you just never wanted to work with him. Find your shelter. I lived in that house, it was so small you could touch the television from the sofa. Somewhere that is yours. Do you have a home in your work life? Is there something that is something you're really happy doing? That maybe when you're overwhelmed and stressed, you can still do something. Maybe it's like chatting to people, seeing if they're okay. Maybe it's some admin stuff that you've been putting off. If you've got something that is yours, that you're comfortable doing, and that can actually feel like I'm not stressed, I'm not challenged. Do you have those things? Do you have a place where you can work, where you're most comfortable, where you feel most productive? Hot desks in the workplace, all the time, unnerve the crap out of me. I'm left-handed. Do you know how easy it is to have a left-handed ergonomic mouse?
Yeah.
What about eye level? You know, we have all these things with our monitors. Is it the right level, the right brightness? Is that home? Find that place. Find something that is yours. Maybe it's a routine. Starting and finishing work at the same time is pretty helpful. Find those things and make that normal for people to have those things. It's important that we have that, not all of the time. I have children, if they were always forever comfortable, they were never out of their comfort zone, there might be trouble. I watched a documentary on Bam Margera the other week. His parents gave him everything. They bought him everything. He had no responsibilities, and his entire life he got what he wanted. And it's a tragic tale, because he had addiction, he had injuries, he didn't know how to recover or take responsibility. And even when he looked like he was on the right path, things went wrong. We need to be both challenged and have that home comfort. if we're always uncomfortable, I don't know about you. I don't want that. Sanitation. Well, okay, pandemic. But how about organisation? Who likes to know where everything is? Organise things. Have you ever opened up your Google Drive and found where everything was without the search bar? Do you know where everything is in the right folder? Who had a CD collection on their PC where nothing was named? It was just so-and-so, track 1. That stresses the life out of me. If our workplace is organised, we know where things are, we know where to talk. That's important. And again, it is healthy to say no. The Testing Peers Slack has a channel that says, I said no. And we celebrate that. Because we need to. It needs to be healthy and clean. If your life is constantly derailed by things, we've talked about things like our context being thrown and not understanding stuff. If that happens all the time and we're unsettled always, we're not effective, we're not helpful, we're not testers providing value. Deal with toxic environments. Challenge toxic things, toxic practices. Unachievable goals. Please. Use your retrospectives as a positive. Let's actually have actions in our retrospectives that we do. And then celebrate them when we've done them. How about that? Find a way to escalate things. Find someone to help you. Never suffer alone. Tools, all right. Get acquainted with the tech stack. Find those things. Read articles. Watch webinars. Make those things available to your team. My goodness, why keep it to yourself? That's not helpful. I'm a gatekeeper. No. And remember those things and take them to your context. Wherever you are, those practices will help you in your life and your career. Who's not got access to their tools when they need them? Does that help you in your work? Have your company blocked Chrome plugins and you need to test the web? Access to tooling enables you to do your job. It removes friction from your workplace. Single points of failure are terrible, and if someone leaves, you're screwed. Share. Unlock those things. Stuff in just your head isn't going to help everyone. Probably won't help you because it'll probably stress you out. Don't be a bottleneck. Identify bottlenecks. Sort them out. And finally, know your people. Know who to talk to, where, finding everything. If you're in the office, tell people where the bathroom is. There's nothing more stressful than not knowing where to go to the loo on your first day at work. Navigating your company's culture, understanding the context, why you are where you are today and where you're headed. Give those things to people, give them context. So in the future, what are we saying? This came directly from a conversation with Russell in the Testing Peers podcast. I might have mentioned we do a podcast before. I said embrace failure, and Russell reminded me that actually it is remembering that lesson, forgetting the mistakes. The lesson is where the value is. So the future should make things scalable, maintainable, big picture. I mean, this could be your automation strategy, couldn't it? Inclusive. Mitigate your debts. Isaac Newton said it better than I did. I've seen further because I've been standing on the shoulder of giants. People shouldn't have to go through the rubbish that I went through just because I went through it. I should help people achieve more because I want us to achieve more. If I'm holding people back, I'm a terrible human being and tester. Thank you very much.